sorry. I want to respond to that. What you just said about Florida and just like living in Florida in general. No, sorry, about like shitty attitudes that we've experienced around us, and then I also want to ask you about like living in Florida and like post-mortem election stuff because I don't get to talk to Americans very often.
Oh yeah, yeah. I can
So
share all.
first of all, we definitely like I definitely live in the most conservative place, second most conservative place in Canada. The city right below where I live is the most conservative city in Canada, bar none. Like major population centers in Canada, you know. And there they just had a giant anti-mask, anti-vaccine, great awakening, like walk for freedom kind of thing. And there were people like in a Canadian metropolitan center, one of the wealthiest cities in Canada. There were people wearing Trump flags and chanting Trudeau must go and like saying that their mayor should go in prison for treason. It was absurd. I think I'm taking crazy pills. What's happening? First of all, the situation's here is fucked. Second of all, uh, how the hell's the post Trump going? How's that
Oh,
happening?
post Trump Florida. All right, man. So a lot of Floridians still don't believe that Trump lost. I had a guest on my show called Krishanda Don. He's a conservative rapper. He's like a pro MAGA rapper. He's not a MAGA rapper because I told him I'd never call him a MAGA rapper, but he's a pro MAGA conservative rapper, right?
Mm-hmm.
I see like he's a cool guy, but I see him like post on Facebook every now and then and be like, there's still a pathway to victory for Trump. There's still a pathway to victory. And like, bro, there's like no fucking pathway to victory. You watch Vosh, so you already know that
Mm-hmm.
he explained it pretty well that no, the Trump team's fucked. Like Trump is fucked. Like he needs to get the fuck out of there. But a lot of conservatives just like are still being like, there's a pathway to victory. We just need to recount the votes. Um, he's gonna
Yeah.
use the Constitution during this one pathway he can't use the Constitution for. And yeah, it's kind of wild. Like, dude, like I went to church for the first time today in like maybe like 7 months, right? Yeah, about 7 months. Um, and like it was like some church that I just found out about. I was at like a anti-Trump protest, and this one youth group was like handing out flyers. So I was like, okay, I guess I'll check it out. I haven't been to church in person in a long time. Um, and this one guy comes up, and he's like this like church prophet inside the church, and he's like, "Hey guys, the battle for our country still isn't over. Um, we just need to pray more than ever. Just tell all your friends and family to pray for the country, and we're gonna win this thing." And I'm like, oh my god. I'm like, what the fuck?
These people are like the
He's
amount
like,
of
yeah, it's like, bro,
copium
I'm never
being
going to that church ever
ingested.
again. But like, yeah, I was just like surprised that happened. Cause like when I talk to this group, they're like, oh no, we're apolitical. I know we're at an anti-Trump rally, but we don't believe in any side. And I'm like, nah, bro, there's a side here, bro. If you guys are cheering when he's saying this shit, nah, fuck him.
Oh my god, that's these people are oh
In my
like at least in Canada, like pretty much no matter what, even during a pandemic, there was an election during the pandemic actually. There were several, one in New Brunswick, one in BC. Yeah, so there were at least two during the pandemic, and in both these cases, the parties that won were Hey Shantrum Plain and Hey Sinarter and Lawnmower Operator. Oh my God! Suddenly we just exploded. Holy crap! Hey guys. Anyway, a raid. Oh my god, we're being
Oh
raided. Oh
no,
no.
what's
Oh
going
my
on
god, that's
here?
so exciting. I love you. Feet, thank you for the raid, Feet. Oh shit. Cool. Where was I going with
Wait, what are
this?
they about to start spelling?
That's super cool. Oh man. Geez, that's really exciting. I've never actually been raided before. That's so cool. A Feet subreddit.
Feed somebody? Like, do you want to see our
Okay.
feet or
Well,
something?
welcome
I don't
Feet
know if you want to see
subreddit
our feet.
people. I hope you stick around. Okay. So what was I trying to say?
The Foot Clan.
Oh man, my train of thought's dead. Oh yeah. So two provinces just had an election, and within a day, like on election night, it was all done, all over, finished. Like the part like in BC, the NDP, the AOC party won a majority government. It was over. It was expected that they would win a majority government. BC in general is a very progressive province, barring like the Okanagan, which is where all the rich people in Canada live, every single one. And that's like where the Green Party usually gets seats, stuff like that. The gentleman in the top right is Taj, bars and joysticks. They say you're cute.
Hey. Thanks,
Yeah,
guys.
so
It's
so
the
like
bad
it's like
camera.
hey, oh, straight up deny that. Who? Okay. Um where was I going? Yeah, so it's kind of obscene and absurd. Like even when like the Conservatives blew out the NDP in Alberta, we had like 4 years after 44 years of Conservative rule. We had 4 years of an NDP government, and they were like pretty conservative as far as usual NDP governments go. But then they were like really like they were still miles better than any Conservative. And then we just got blown the fuck out right after. And the Conservatives came in, and now they're doing fascist things here, like, you know, criminalizing poor people, that sort of thing. And they're, but we still accepted the election result, like, immediately, right? There was no like wishy-washiness. So it's kind of insane to me that y'all are still doing what you're doing.
Yeah, it's insane. It's insane. Yeah, there's gonna be a rally in Atlanta, in DC on December 12th. There's gonna be another Stop the Steal rally sometime in January. They are still out here. Like you'll see like pundits like the Hodge twins and Candace Owens and Caitlyn Bennett and pretty much any if they're a conservative pundit, they're talking about stopping the steal of the election. Like I don't think there's been a single one besides like maybe oddly enough Tucker Carlson that just doesn't believe that Trump lost.
Yeah, Tucker Carlson is like actually a monster. Also, I apologize for my chat.
No, it's all good.
Yeah, I literally, honestly, I wish I knew how to do something about it. If you want to apply as a moderator, please apply now. I haven't had to deal with such an issue before because, again, usually on my channel, I just review music, and there are specifically a lot of like black people who usually send me music because, again, lots of beat makers and hip hop artists, and that is a predominantly black community. Actually, to segue into that, are you a hip hop artist yourself?
Yeah, I occasionally do rap. My channel mates like William Zillions, Paco Escobar, and Michael Suits, you can look all of them up, chat. They do way more rap and hip hop than I do. William Zillions and Paco are producers as well. And Seuss is a pretty cool MC. We were just filming his music video for a song called Beholder last week. I think that should release actually, I'm not allowed to say when that releases. Never mind. But like, yeah, it's exciting. I'm really excited for their careers. Shit's really seems like it's like going well for them.
Nice. Hey, do you have a SoundCloud we can follow?
Maybe we should make a Bars and Joysticks SoundCloud. Maybe we should do that. Not a SoundCloud. Actually, let me take a look. Let me see if Paco Escobar has it.
Also, Shanton Plain in chat is like the biggest troll in the world. I think they're trying to bait me into like, oh geez, just complete nonsense. I love it. Keep doing it.
Damn,
The more you chat, the more powerful I become. The more powerful we become. Thanks, Lawnmower. If you want to do something about Shanton, be my guest.
Damn, I can't find Paco Escobar's SoundCloud anymore, bro. No, he deleted it a few years ago.
I don't think I actually can, Lawnmower Operator. Sorry,
for things like Spotify, I can. Let me share Seuss's. Let me share Michael Seuss's, bro.
Oh, I figured out how to ban people. Nice. I've never actually had to do this, but this should do it. Yeah, so we got rid of Shanton Plain. So that's what happens.
Oof.
Yeah, oof. That is a Google search, my friend.
Yeah, I was gonna. All right, let me just. Can I share Spotify links? Can I do
I bet
that?
you can. Yeah, that seems like
Oh, let me
something you
just
can
share the Spotify
definitely
link. That's
easily do.
way cleaner.
Oof, big link.
There it
Ah,
goes.
beautiful. We have a link. Hey, if you're in chat and first of all, you haven't followed me yet, hit that fucking follow button. And number two, hit Bars Enjoy's Spotify link and go follow that. Go listen to some tunes. Cool. So,
Damn, son. This man has 25,000 views on one of the songs.
oh wow. So you're working with this guy, hey?
Oh yeah. He's one of the channel mates.
Cool. Oh
It's
fuck
like me
yeah.
and three buddies
Damn. All right. 25,000. That's really good. Like
on one
monthly
song. Yeah,
plays. Oh, on one song. Okay, I see.
yeah.
Because
And
25 monthly
another.
plays is like awesome. 25,000 monthly
Nah,
plays.
he has 6.2
That's
thousand
still pretty
monthly
good.
listeners. That's a lot of monthly listeners, man.
Yeah, like I used to think like just like used to being watch. I'm used to watching big streamers, and so like I'd be like, oh, like Vosh for instance is only at like 10,000 today. I don't know, that's not a lot of people right now, Holy, like sometimes I get 7 people on my stream and I lose my goddamn mind because suddenly chat actually starts moving. I'm like, what the hell is happening here?
Yo, it's dope. Hey, for all the people here, are these subscribers already? If you guys have not subscribed to my man Bass Clown, then do it. What are you doing?
Well, they can't
What are you
subscribe
doing?
yet. They can only follow me as of this moment.
They can only follow you. Okay. Oh shit.
I
See, I
need,
don't know Twitch for shit.
I'm past the amount of followers I need to get. I have 67 followers. I'm good on followers to become an affiliate. But what I need now is 3 average views. So if you really want to help me out, you can just stick around for the rest of this chat, and that would help me out more than anything. Just
Nice.
getting an average of 3 viewers. It's because at the start of my like streaming, I got like no viewers for the first like 10 times I streamed. So then like
Oh
my
wow.
average just got shot.
Really? That's how the average works. I thought it was for like the first 30 days.
Yeah, so it's a rolling thing. So like 30 days has now eclipsed since I started streaming. So basically it's getting like like the days where I didn't get many viewers are getting chopped off each one day by day. So I'm going to
Beautiful.
hopefully hit in like a week, maybe 2, but it's going to happen.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds like it's a very early thing to hit. Like a good way to close out the year.
Yeah, I definitely agree. It's been super fun, like to start doing this. In my so I started my music career, I suppose,
Yeah.
fucking around with tunes back in January before everything went to absolute hell. So some background on this, I guess. I'm a lot of different things besides a music producer. I'm also like a theater artist. Like some people ask where the name Bass Clown came from, and that's because I'm literally a professional clown. In my university career, I was a drama major, and part of that was taking a clown course in my second year of university, which was a 4-week course in summer. And it's curated by one of the best clowns in Canada. And like there's a bunch of stuff that's in it that's not clown related at all. And then at the very end, in the last couple days, you discover your clown. And then I use these skills of all things to become a festival performer. So I got an opportunity to perform at a festival as a alchemist. Thankfully, I have like a wizard character from that clowning course. So I basically used that and I turned him into an alchemist and I played this Kaiba the Alchemist at this
I'm the Alchemist.
hippie music festival. And that was like my first exposure to electronic music and bass music. And at first I hated it. I thought it was just a bunch of beeps and boops and like computer generated nonsense. And then slowly I got more and more used to it. And I was like, okay, there's something here. And then last year, my creative partner and I, the guy who introduced me to music festivals, he has also taken the clown course. We wrote our own clown show and we took it on tour across like 7-8 different festivals across North America from July to October. And I got a lot of exposure to electronic music during that time. The biggest electronic music festival is called Shambhala. About 20,000 people. Yeah, about 20,000 people attend, and like some of the biggest names in bass music also play there, like Closey and Excision, Bonobo. Some of these names might ring a bell.
Yeah.
DJ Jazzy Jeff plays there.
Interesting.
Yeah. So basically, I have this bit, I guess. It's a 3-hour long bit. It's called the King of the Festival. And for this bit, I dress up as a king. And basically the backstory is I've been summoned by the gods of the festival, right? And then he has these 2 long red carpets, and the only rule of the king is that he cannot touch the ground. So he has to enlist the help of the festival goers to move through the festival. So I did this bit at Shambhala. I probably had like 5,000-ish unique interactions in one day over a 3-hour period. Gained a reasonable amount of infamy from that. Hopefully I'll be invited back to perform as like an actual like paid performer in the near future.
It's definitely not COVID friendly.
Definitely not COVID friendly. Holy crap, no. Not at all. And yeah, so I got a lot of exposure to just like the general world of like music festivals and bass music. And then come January, I was like, I have some musical background. I bet I could probably plunk something out. And so I installed FL Studios on my computer and just started mashing buttons, right? I already have like an artistic career, so I was like, I can probably make something happen. And then it was terrible for about 5-6 months, just like when you're starting at an art, you're going to be bad at it. 5-6 months, it was bad. And then, as it so happens, I made a very good friend at one of these festivals who also has 10 plus years doing digital audio production. So I just hit him up. I was like, you want to tutor me for a bit? And he was like, I got time. There's nothing going on. COVID. I'm a nurse. I'm taking stress leave. May as well. So I just went over to his place for like a couple times a week for like 2 months straight, and my skill just whoop. And now I'm streaming to Twitch, and people come to me for advice on their beats, and sometimes I get to give advice to people who are far better than me, and that feels really good.
That's so interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, what if I can do like... Oh yeah, I can do video reviews.
Oh, you 100% can.
Yeah, like I need to do more of those actually. I have a few planned out. There's some videos that like no one's attacking that like need to be stomped down.
Of course.
And I plan on doing shit like that. So that's interesting. So you wanted to put your sense of politics with the musical pathway that you're going with.
Yeah.
That's
so like the very first song I ever made was one I called Locked Ideas. And what inspired it was a political speech made in, I think, like 1950 something. And it was a Canadian political speech by a guy by the name of Tommy Douglas. I don't know if you've ever heard his name or not, but he's the reason Canada has free healthcare, air quote unquote. It's more complex than that, but essentially we have free healthcare. And Tommy Douglas was the originator of, at the time, the CCF, which is now the NDP. He was a communist through and through, like as red as they come, but he essentially said the same thing as we're saying, hey, sock dem policies until we can make socialism happen. So he ran a series of socialist reforms as leader of the CCF in Saskatchewan, the province beside Alberta, and he called it Prairie Socialism. And Saskatchewan did amazingly well under him. And then he tried to go federal and didn't do as well at the federal level. But he did convince the current minority liberal government at the time that Lester B. Pearson was running to move forward on universal health care. And he also did a speech that is now known fairly famously throughout Canada as Mouseland, where he compares... he talks about this nation of mice, and every single year the mice would go down to the ballot box and vote. And every single year they voted for a big, fat, black cat. And this cat would make great promises for the mice. But eventually they got tired of the cat because the cat was starting to make promises like, what if we made mouse holes square instead of round so we could get in them easily, And then a new challenger came along, a new political opponent came along, a white cat. And the white cat promised that they would go back to round mouse holes and it would be harder for them to get in, but they would still get in now and then. Stuff like that. And then along comes one little mouse who says, I have an idea, guys. Why don't we, I don't know why we keep voting for cats. Why don't we vote for mice? There's a big idea. And then it ends with, so they put him away. They called him a Bolshevik. And that's kind of the end of the speech. And I took that speech and I turned it into a song, basically. And that was my first ever song that I produced. And I'm currently remixing it so it's less bad.
Yeah, I haven't listened to one yet.
Yeah.
It sounds like with a story like that, it sounds like that'd be like a really chaotic, high energy song, though.
It definitely,
So it sounds like
you are correct. It is a very chaotic, high energy song. Yeah, a lot of synthesizers going a lot of places, but a big bass line, a really good bass line, honestly.
yeah, I wanted. All right, I'll take a. It's on SoundCloud, right?
Yeah, it is. It's my most listened to song because it's the first song. And then like throughout time of like not necessarily made left wing specific content, but I kind of return every now and then. My second, like I made a song out of Vosh samples and it's like lo-fi. And I also made one out of Bernie Sanders as well, some Bernie Sanders speeches, and also I just like on election night I took Joe Biden saying like telling Paul Ryan that everything he was saying was malarkey, and I turned that into a bass line, and then I created a song called No Malarkey, which is going to be on Spotify really soon, and it's currently on Apple Music.
Is he put on Apple first?
Huh?
You put it on Apple first? You didn't show love?
So
The original home?
I mean, I put
not Spotify. I'm in SoundCloud. My bad.
Oh yeah, no, they're all on they're all on SoundCloud.
I misunderstood that.
SoundCloud is
They're
where
all on
everything
SoundCloud,
goes
okay.
first. Yeah, SoundCloud is where everything goes first, and then after that, like I put like if I think it's good enough, I'll put it on a service called DistroKid, and that will distribute it to all the major music retailers.
DistroKid, hell yeah.
Yeah, DistroKid. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. For some reason, I'm looking right now. I haven't seen your SoundCloud yet, but I'm trying to find it.
Interesting. It should be bass_clown, just like my.
Oh, I didn't put the underscore in.
Yeah, the
I typed in your legal name too. So that might have been it.
No worries.
Microphone. Man, I'm fucking up the pacing of this
It's
interview.
okay. You can fix it in post.
Yeah. No, I don't plan on touching it up that much.
Mm-hmm. Also, there's another track that I'm okay with raw, by the way. But there's another track that I put out earlier in my career. I'm not sure if I deleted it or not, but it's just called the dubstep track, and that was also put out in January when I was first starting. And it included just a bunch of different samples from various bread tubers like ContraPoints and Philosophy Tube and Brian David Gilbert, who is a bread tuber for sure.
Yeah, what video from ContraPoints did you
incorporate? Jordan Peterson. I think it's not like an explicitly left-wing samples. It was just like nonsense they like to say. And the sample in specific I used was I don't know why people are afraid of him. Like, I'm not afraid of him. I'm not afraid of anything. I just smoked a bunch of fucking PCP. And then I have that echo, PCP, 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 and then chords start.
Oh yeah, I'm giving this a listen, bro.
Mm-hmm. It's definitely, it's an old one. You know, I actually produced a song just for today.
Just for today?
Yeah, just to like demonstrate what I'm trying to get at, you know?
Is it here?
It's not here. No.
Okay.
I haven't uploaded it yet.
Okay.
I was just like, honestly, oh man, I wonder if I played it through my system like you could hear it, but I don't know. Maybe I
don't know if it'd be the optimal experience.
Yeah, that's true. Usually when I play things through my, like, it was just my thought because I usually play things through Twitch, and like you can hear it through my Twitch, right?
When you play through Twitch, you play it off of like your speakers. I couldn't tell what you did, or if you like loaded it where it like externally played. Over the video, or
I don't know how you record your videos, but I record mine through Streamlabs, and that automatically captures whatever's on your desktop.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out OBS right now. Twitter is just like, not Twitter, but YouTube. You kind of just like put in like the Zoom video and stuff. It's like very easy. I like edit it through Wondershare for more, like add the logo and stuff, and that's it. So yeah, it's cool. Yeah, fuck OBS. It's tough to learn.
It is.
Oh,
I
look
would
at
really
Streamlabs
recommend
stuff.
Streamlabs. OBS like streamlines all of it. It gives you different templates. It's definitely centered around Twitch in specific, but you can record it for anything. I
Yeah, you
find it
can
a
just
lot
like
more
download
easy
it
to
later on,
handle.
right?
Sorry.
You can just like download it later on, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I. Yeah, that's what I was aiming for.
Cool.
All right, cool. Yeah. All right. So, talking about the career pathway, what are some
Career.
misconceptions that might be out there as like
About
a leftist based artist? Because
right.
you gave me some example songs beforehand. When you introduced that topic to me before, I'd never heard of it. And there's some songs that were out there that were made way earlier. And I was like, whoa, he's not the first to do it. But what are some misconceptions that someone might have, like that you've run into?
Right. So the bass music scene, and I can speak to Canada's basically only. I have no idea what the fuck goes on in the States. It's
I can
another
fill in
world
some holes.
entirely. But I would say, I mean, the first misconception that the average person is going to have is that bass music is terrible. To which I would respond that most music includes bass music in some regard. Hey, do you like any mainstream pop? It is electronically produced bass music that takes influences from every single electronic genre. Every single one. Billie Eilish? Are you kidding me? She takes so many, or her older brother who does all of her production, all of her drum kits are electronically synthesized. Everything that's done, like all the bass lines, obviously electronically synthesized. There's like a bunch of different trap and pop influences in there. It steals from electronica so much. You know, all trap music is electronically produced at some point. Like a lot of things steal from house in general. Yeah, so just as a general note, bass music might suck, but that's because you're not thinking about it in a way that's really conducive, if that makes sense. Like, yeah. I had a lot of misconceptions to start with it. I would really recommend to anyone who hasn't listened to bass music to check out Closey in specific. That's Clozee. She makes like the wildest, most different music I've ever heard.
Interesting. I've never heard of Closey, but I've heard of artists like Excision, like you mentioned before.
Yeah.
No, I feel like bass has a pretty big following out here in Florida.
Oh yeah, in Florida, absolutely.
Yeah, Okeechobee, Halloween.
Yeah, I know Halloween. I actually when I went to Shambhala, we ran into a random person who the only other music festival she had ever been to was Halloween. Only ever one. So I actually know that one from that in specific.
You know that one?
Yeah.
Yeah, man, we have a very big.
Have you ever been to a bass music festival?
I've been to yeah, me and Michael Seuss went to this one festival called Donkey Punch.
Sure.
Out in a place called the Maddox Ranch out in Lakeland. I fucking hated it. And I went to a better one called Okeechobee, and that was tight. That was tight, man. It was like truly 24 hours. You'd like fall. I fell asleep one night at like 9 p.m. Woke up at like 6 or maybe 5. Yeah, 5ish, and then like partied for the rest of the day. 5
yeah,
a.m.
that totally tracks.
Yeah, and like, yeah, it's cool, man. Like being at like a kind of like a beach set, and then there's like a sunrise happening at the same time, and it's tight.
Yeah,
it's a good way to start your day and morning.
So like last summer, I got to go to as I told you before, like 7 different music festivals in a row, and all of them were overnight 24-hour music festivals. And again, the main reason was to perform. Like all my tickets were comped. I was getting paid to do these things, so that was great.
Nice.
Because these things can really run up the bill otherwise. Yeah. I was super burned out by the end. Anyway, misconception wise, this music scene in general is really, really weird because certain things at these festivals are ingested that I don't want to say out loud because you might get demonetized on YouTube if I talk about them. If you are monetized, I'm not sure. But I don't want to backlog you at all, you know? Right. So there's like always pretty much everyone there is going to be a libertarian of some kind. Now, whether or not they're left libertarians or right libertarians is a crapshoot. You don't really get liberals out there. Like, I'm using the Canadian liberal or like the more general political sciencey terminology when it comes to liberal. Like, you don't get people there who are like generally just kind of content with the status quo at these music festivals. And you don't really get like conservatives because conservatives hate substances, right? So you tend to
That
get
might be a Canadian thing.
maybe, probably,
I don't know about
honestly.
Florida, man.
In
That's
my
not
experience,
doesn't track here.
if you're conservative, you probably drink. That's kind of it, right? Maybe you've smoked a joint before, maybe. Um, but in my experience, you're a libertarian of some kind, or just a lefty in general.
Like, sure, like
Hmm.
people can get into. I think Destiny's content's kind of boring, but I really like Destiny.
Yeah, I like
Um,
Destiny as well. Like Rad Lefty, I disagree with like a bunch of Destiny's takes. But like, I mean, his content's good generally, and like he's really good at like shitting down the throats of conservatives. He
yeah,
really excels at that. And I really appreciate how he like constantly will just hammer someone on like their messaging and like will stick to one point. Like I really appreciate his argumentation style. It's influenced a lot of my argumentation style as well.
yeah, he's a beast at fucking
But he's
debating.
also boring.
Yeah, his content's kind of boring, and he does some things that piss people off. Like,
Like, the whole Kenosha
yeah,
thing.
do you remember? Yeah, do you remember the Kyle Rittenhouse
Yeah, the
Vosh
Kenosha
video
thing,
that he
right?
did?
Yeah.
Yeah, that bro, he won that debate, but like, I can understand why people get pissed at Destiny for that.
Mm.
Like, he says some unpopular shit, albeit true, but it's like massively unpopular. Um,
It's what gets me about Destiny because it's something Vosh carries forward. Is that well, Vosh took it from Destiny. It's that you have a responsibility to your platform and a responsibility to not say dumb as fuck things, even if you're right, or at least to word yourself in a way that's not stupid as hell. So when Destiny goes out there and says stupid as hell things and then gets deplatformed as a result, it kind of goes against that like prime whatever it is, like that prime directive, right?
right,
So like
right,
that's a little off-putting, but yeah. Um, right before we move on, Kilmacki does have a question in chat,
yeah,
which is about the polyrhythm song. Rhythm is a subgenre of dubstep. It's like what Skrillex does, basically, like at Excision as well. It's all like the dinosaur roars and the wah 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 wah. Like that's specifically that kind of dubstep. Um, which brought a lot of good and bad criticism. Many people say that it's something revolutionary in the dubstep environment, and other people think that it is not music because it does not respect one's structure. The question is, do you think that to make music you have to strictly respect a consistent structure? I don't actually know what polyrhythm means in specific. If you're just referring to rhythm in general, I know what that is, but I don't know what polyrhythm is. And when it comes to consistent structure, no, music does not have to respond to a consistent structure.
I was just about to
Nothing
say.
does. Nothing has to respond to a consistent structure. Consistent structure helps. It's very useful. But something that we learn in drama education is that if you know the rules to something, you can break the rules. Before you, when you're first learning Shakespeare in pretty much every major theater school in the world, you will learn the rules of Shakespeare, the basic rules. And then right after you learn the basic rules, you learn how to break Shakespeare in half. You learn how to snap him. You learn how to take him out of context. You learn how to do him completely differently. And then you go out there and you throw raves. Like there was this one show called The Donkey Show, and it was taking Midsummer Night's Dream, but instead of Midsummer Night's Dream, it was a rave where the best raver at the end got a donkey hat, and they became the ass of the show.
What?
Like, you can do anything. Absolutely, yeah. So learn the structure first and then break the rules. Music does not need a consistent structure. I think it's absolutely
Damn.
revolutionary that any music is breaking the structures of music.
Fuck, man, I could not have said that better. Like,
You're
I was
welcome.
gonna refer. I didn't know if he meant like commercially or critically. I'm assuming
Oh,
critically.
yeah, commercially
Um,
is different. Yeah, if you want to
no,
sell
even commercially,
something,
you can break rules too.
okay, I agree with that, like, roughly,
Yeah, I'm
but
thinking of like artists like Tyler the Creator, right? Um, and artists like I think Billie Eilish broke quite a bit of rules, and I think she
mm,
was rewarded quite handsomely for it.
what rules do you think
Try,
she broke?
certain beauty standard rules she broke.
Hmm.
Certain sounds, her sounds are just different, man. Like when I think of like a song like Bad Guy, that's just not her singing, but like the electronic part, the instrumental part, that sounds a lot different than what goes on the radio. Like as someone that DJs commercial music, like artists get rewarded a lot of the time by sounding the exact same. But then
Mm-hmm.
here Billie Eilish comes and just like breaks that shit.
Yeah.
And like you have no choice but to play it. Lizzo, I think, broke quite a few
Oh
rules
yeah, Lizzo.
back in 2018. 2018 was a good year for music, honestly.
True.
Um, yeah, so
Oh shit, you know who really broke rules? Fucking Lil Nas X. He broke all the rules.
right?
Yeah, okay, you know what? You convinced me. Yeah, you can
Yeah,
absolutely break rules and still be successful commercially. Yeah, totally.
yeah, yeah.
Polyrhythm is a song that is built in 2/6 and 142.8 BPM. That is so specific, and it doesn't have any structure like any dubstep song. It's not the typical song where you can do headbangs. Okay, I think I would
Interesting.
have to listen to an example of this to really find out. If you want to send me one tomorrow when we're doing feedback, like absolutely, we'll break it down. Um,
Yeah, please do.
yeah, I'd love to check it out, but as of this moment, I don't really. But yeah, that's still music. Anything, it's really hotly debated what like qualifies as music. So this summer I was tree planting, and in my tree planting camp, I had a jazz musician with me, and he's from Vancouver, and he was talking about a some experimental noise shows he was invited to in Vancouver. I don't know if you've ever heard experimental noise,
Yeah, I
but
went to a
it's
show or two.
right. It's pretty fucking weird out there. And he talked about this one woman who claimed that her music was going up on stage and testing different rubber duckies across a mic, and that was her music. It's music. It counts technically in a certain purview. Is it good? Is it good? I'm not sure, but it's music.
There's an audience for everything.
True. That's true.
Yeah, just like with fashion or with movies, like there are movies out there that people fucking love. There's fashion out there people fucking love, that other people fucking hate. Like I don't like baggy clothes, but that's becoming a new hot thing,
Mm-hmm.
right? I'm trying to think of like music that everyone likes that I hate. Or maybe not music, but like maybe like a movie. Like what movie do I dislike?
Everyone
I didn't.
hates new wave country music. Everyone. No one likes new wave country music.
By new wave country music, do you mean like Andy Grammer, like nah nah honey I'm good, or like or
Just the heavily overplayed like pop country that you hear constantly.
some people really fuck
Okay,
with
maybe
that
it's a
in Florida,
Canadian thing.
unfortunately. Yeah. It's
Because like I like country music. It's just not like that specific genre of country music. It's a
yeah.
very
Do you mean
specific
like
one.
Patsy Cline country, like
I like Orville Peck actually.
Orville Peck? Okay,
Yeah,
so older
yeah,
type things. I'm trying to think of like newer country. Well, they call Lil Nas X
yeah.
country,
That is also country, and I like Lil Nas X. So
and
where does
yeah.
that leave us, right? Shit, like this is also a big thing in bass music as well. So like bass music is constantly like reinventing itself. I'll get to that in a second, Mackie. Reinventing itself. Every single genre is a new genre into itself, but it's also a combination of old genres. So I think one of the coolest artists out there right now is Grizz, Griz, and he
Yeah.
does future funk. You know Grizz?
I don't know them personally. I've definitely recognized that name.
Yeah.
I think they were playing at Okeechobee when I was
Yeah,
there.
he probably honestly he's a fairly popular name in the U.S. and Canada, and he has one song that's like really popular, and the drop down is oh this shit be hitting different, bwom 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 bwom. Anyway, he does like the fucking weirdest music I've ever heard. It's funk and it's dubstep and it's also slow and it's at the same time very fast, and he kind of just goes all over the place with it and lets it be its own thing. It breathes its own life, you know? I can't compare it to any other music. No one, like even the other people who do future funk, quote unquote, don't quite do what Grizz does, you know? Hell, like even Future House is a genre I learned about yesterday.
Future
That's
House.
apparently a thing. I learned about Future Trap. I think like some guy who came into my channel sent me some Future Lo-Fi, which is like a lo-fi that's bassy. It was really weird and really interesting.
I would like to try that.
Hell, even Kilmacki in chat does like a combination of trap and rhythm style dubstep, which is something I've only really ever heard out of Kilmacki. Really cool content, right? So like music itself is obviously ever evolving and it's super interesting. He's also asking a political question right now. What do you think of the current political party? Do you think it brings more benefits or it has more disadvantages? Well, I don't know about where you're from or like in the States or if you're asking about where I'm from. If you're asking about like my provincial government or my national government or this government in the States, I just need you to get more specific because there's a lot of different, I have a lot of different answers to a lot of different questions. So if you
I
get
guess
more
we can.
specific, that would be really good.
Okay, I can answer for the U.S. If you want, Kilmaki. Um, yeah. So pretty much, yeah. So what do I think of the current political party? Do you think it brings more benefits or has more disadvantages? You mean like supporting them versus like a third party candidate is what I'm assuming you mean? I'm assuming
Yeah,
that's
I
what they
assume
mean.
that's what he means.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, I think that being Democrat has more advantages versus going third party. I know that people like Howie Hawkins and Gloria La Riva from the PSL party, I believe, Party of Socialism and Liberation, were popular candidates. I even know people that are Kanye candidates,
Of course.
Kanye fans,
Oh my
and
God.
yeah, people that legitimately voted for Kanye West. Like I saw the Instagram story, they wrote in Kanye West on their fucking ballot at the booth. Um, and yeah, so they all have those opinions, but I'm more of like a pragmatist when it comes to like my sense of politics.
Mm-hmm.
So if I don't think people like Howie Hawkins has a chance of winning, if I don't think people like Gloria Liriva has a chance of winning the United States for president and things like that, then I'm just not gonna vote for them. That like people say that's a wasted vote, and I'm of the opinion that it is. Like
Mm-hmm.
if candidates like that had a chance of winning, like then I probably would go for them. I probably would. But I feel like the only two options were either Trump or Biden. That race was way too tight. Like way too tight
I don't
this
know,
year.
but I think
Like
Biden blew Trump the fuck out like 8 million votes in the end.
I think
Like
it was
that's a
like something.
huge win,
Yeah, I
right?
think it
That's
was
a
like
huge
4 million.
mandate.
But yeah, our voting system's messed up. It's not about the popular vote.
Mm-hmm.
It's about the electoral college,
Yeah,
which plays differently. So like
it's
my
so
vote
weird.
and
Yeah.
in the vote for someone in a place called Wyoming, which has been like red forever,
Mm-hmm.
conservative forever. Like someone like say if I voted in Wyoming, it'd have more impact on the electoral college than if I voted in Florida or in California or in Texas, because the electoral college kind of gives a voice to the little guy, and the little guy are those red states that are mostly cornfields and very few like populated areas. Um,
Mm-hmm.
oh,
Yeah, I think the electoral
Argentina.
college is super fucked. Watching the election was an event in my
Oh,
household. We had a drinking sheet going on. Um, to address Mackey, actually,
oh
before I
shit!
address Mackey, I want to talk about Howie Hawkins in specific because I have contention with Howie Hawkins. Like, holy shit, do I have contention with this guy?
I didn't hear about him until like maybe March of this year.
That's my
You know,
fucking
like
problem with him. That's my problem. The Green Party has infrastructure. It has a wide national support base. They could easily be a third party in the US, but they don't do any grassroots on the ground work. Like, you know what they could do? They could find the most obvious easy seat in Oregon or Seattle and run a Green Party like person in like a provincial in a state legislature. They could do that with ease,
damn.
and they could win with relative ease. I know that some federal like districts, counties went green to the Green Party. It does happen. It's not completely insane. They just need to actually campaign and canvass and do a thing and like do some basic on the ground work. And I guarantee they could actually take a chunk out of the Democratic Party and the Republicans very potentially, and become a viable third party options. Same with the Libertarians. I don't know why the fuck they don't do it. You know what?
Yeah,
The Green
Libertarians do a
Party
better
in
job.
Canada exploded. They nearly formed a provincial government in Prince Edward Island, which is a tiny buttfuck nowhere island off the coast of Nova Scotia. They held up the minority government in BC and also have 3 seats in our federal legislature. So like the grassroots efforts do work. You just need to do the work, you know?
Right, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On
And
Mackey's,
I would canvas with them if they started their shit on time, which they never do.
of course they don't. Because they don't actually care. They just care about sowing like
They just want to
discord.
throw a fucking tit for tantrum, and that's like I'm like, yo, people's lives are on the line, man. Like, fuck.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
To address Mackey's questions,
Yeah.
he's asking me about like our local political party in my region. So Mackey, I'm in Canada. And I want to talk about two of my two of the legislators, I guess, two of the political parties. The first one is in power. They're the Liberal Party of Canada. They're about as center as you can get, okay? They kind of care about like queer people, like they care about the LGBTQ community, but they're kind of like conservative in their fiscal management, basically. They're decent. They're definitely not the worst. And they have a really good international image, so we like them for that. I also know nothing about Alberto Fernandez
Yeah, I don't know that
or
much.
Argentinian politics, so you'll have to excuse our ignorance on that. I'm curious if he's like a socialist or if he is like a conservative or a fascist or what kind of party he runs. And then here at home in Alberta, my province, currently the most conservative party we have had in about 50 years is in power, and they're kind of just doing a lot of austerity. They're cutting a lot of social programs. They're cutting education. They're cutting healthcare in the middle of a pandemic. They're giving corporate welfare to large oil companies. They're not doing good things for our province, and a lot of people are very mad at them, and a lot of conservatives who would otherwise vote for them are also very mad at them.
So he's part of the Frente de Todos coalition.
Okay.
It says that is a coalition of Peronists,
Sure.
Kircherists, left-wing and communist political parties in Argentina formed to support Alberto Fernandez. Oh, so is this like some sort? Oh, it's a coalition. Oh, interesting. So it's as if the Green Party and the Democrats like kind of like teamed up in America to fight the Republicans. That's what the Frente de Todos sounds like. Um, huh. And he's doing a bad job, you say?
Oh, that's a shame. It happens. I'm sorry to hear that. Shit. We usually like our left-wing politicians, but if they're not doing a good job, yeah, bludgeon them. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm curious to hear what he's doing for it as well.
That's a damn shame. I feel like in a few years, like, if he really keeps the fuck-up train going on, then people like Turning Point USA will use that against us in America.
Oh no, I really hate it when they use Latin America as like a bludgeon against like non-Latin American socialist.
Yeah, they
causes.
use Venezuela as a boogeyman, bro, and Cuba too.
Cuba is that like I'll support Cuba actually as an anarchist. I think Cuba's
doing good
pretty
right
cool.
now, right?
Like yeah, no, they are. I mean, granted, they're doing like more capitalist reforms as of late, but I mean, even for their quote unquote socialism, which to be perfectly like honest, like my definition of socialism is any state that is attempting communism in specific, which is leading to a stateless, classless society. Like for me, if you call yourself a socialist, that is in tandem with calling yourself a communist. So I'll hear people say like, oh, I'm a socialist, but I'm not a communist. I don't like that. I'm like, then you're not a socialist. That's not the end goal. It's about the end goal, in my opinion. And socialism is just that transitionary state, right? And that's what Marx was talking about. That's what Kropotkin talked about. As you said, you read him a little bit. That's what Bakunin talked about. That's what pretty much any socialist theorist worth their salt at some point said. So, like, it makes sense to me. We want things to get better, but we also want things to be the best, right? So, yeah. I'm not sure where it was. So, like, Cuba, I wouldn't necessarily consider them socialist because their end goal can't, at its current state, be communism. Same goes for any other communist nation, right? Like, their end goal isn't that.
Exactly that. Yeah. Huh.
Yeah.
When do you think we'll see our first communist society?
When will we see our first communist society?
In the modern world, is
Conrad.
what I mean.
In
maybe
the,
future
world. Yeah, in the future. That's so. I want to go back to that Lenin quote.
Right.
We genuinely can't know. I'm not sure how familiar you are with the concept of dialectics.
No.
Yeah. So this is something that is like more of a philosophy talking point than anything, and it's fairly complex. It took me like a couple of years to actually understand and grasp. We'll get to it in a second, Mackie. But in essence, dialectics is idea one, idea two. Idea one is a contradiction of idea two. And when they come into conflict, we produce idea three, right? I'll just wait for you to finish reading and then I'll go on. So there's rampant inflation. Yep, inflation definitely sucks. Yeah, inflation it sucks. Yeah. Holy crap! I got a cat beside me. I did not know the cat was still in here.
Amazing. Oh yeah, my cat's asleep on the. I can't even see it.
Anyway, so dialectics. Basically, it's this idea that, like, in this sense, it's that there's a flow of information and ideas that we can't control. And that moments happen, and when those moments occur, it has to be on us to seize upon those moments and make something out of them.
Okay.
So, like, this is something that, like, I've actually experienced in a way. So, I was at a encampment cherry picking, of all things, right? In BC, cherry picking. And during this time, there was like, we were getting destroyed as workers. We were working obscenely long hours in really shitty heat. And we got maybe 1 day off in 13 days.
Oh, shit. What?
Like we were like there are two kinds of workers in the fruit picking industry. You're either very, very young, or you're from Mexico and your English is weak at best. These are the two scenarios. So you're
even in Mexico. I mean, not even Mexico, even in Canada.
Mm-hmm, absolutely, yeah.
Interesting.
A lot of Mexicans come up to do fruit picking labor in the Okanagan, which is our fruit valley. Yeah. So there are a lot of exploited Latin American workers, and there's no union presence whatsoever. So something that happened is, it's something we couldn't anticipate, but it was something that me, and it just so happened that there were like 2 or 3 other anarchists in my camp. And like we found each other very early on, and we were talking and scheming, and we were like, okay, we want to like have a meeting and we want to start discussing things and like get stuff going. And like we had these conversations, but we never actually did anything. And then it was my birthday. And on my birthday, there was this moment at the end of the day where our managers came up to us and we were like, hey, so the good news is y'all are doing really good. The bad news is that if you're not meeting a certain quota, we're going to have to fire you. And I raised my hand and I was like, yo, you've taught us fuck all. You haven't taught us how to pick. You can't expect us to meet this quota without actually teaching us. Right? I immediately caused some tension. I immediately caused discord.
Did they fire you for it?
They did not. No. In fact, what they told us is that they were, so this is something called a regular piecework, which is where we are paid by the amount that we do. Right? So each cherry was worth 0.027 cents. So about a pound of cherries was about $6. So, I mean, in theory, you could have like a $300 day out there if you really tried hard enough, right? So you could make a lot of money if you went hard and you knew what you were doing. None of us knew what we were doing because we weren't trained, so none of us were making money. So I rose a giant stink. Anyway, what ended up happening is they lied to us about how much they were paying us, and this pissed a lot of people off. Now, what happened was, because we had some mild organization, we were able to seize on this moment, okay? There was a lot of like frustration, a lot of anger. The dialectical moment reached its peak. These two ideas clashed together, and we were able to have a meeting, and we were able to discuss things, and we were able to, like, you know, fight back a little bit. And then the next day the restrictions cooled off and they were like, hey, so we won't actually be letting anyone go. Boom. Nice and easy, right? So like that was my personal experience with it. But the thing is, I could never have known that that was going to happen. And suddenly years happened in a day, right?
Fuck.
Years happened in a day.
So COVID was kind of a dialectic moment for
Absolutely.
America,
honestly, I thought there was going to be,
we didn't do a good job with it then.
Dude, the Black Lives Matter protests, in a certain sense, that's a dialectical moment, right? It's like there's all this organizing going around in the background. There's like not much happening. One guy dies in a really cruel way. You know, rest in peace, by the way. But he dies in a really cruel way, and suddenly the nation explodes. And there's suddenly like where there was no talk before, suddenly everyone's talking about defund the police. Everyone's talking abolish the police, right? And it's everywhere. And there are fires and riots and protests and everyone's on board, right? That's the moment. You could never have anticipated it. But there it was.
Shit.
Yeah.
That's fucking the tale of America.
Yeah.
During the summer.
Hell,
what a summer it fucking was, bro. What a summer it was.
You know, I was off in BC planting trees. I wasn't even aware of it, believe it or not. Like, I came back, got internet. Like, I was climbed out of the bush one day. I was like, oh my God, it's on fire. Why is all of it on fire?
So you didn't know? Oh my God.
Well, no, I knew about it, but like only tangentially. Like, I got internet like once every 3 days kind of thing. And I was like, what the fuck?
You were one of those people. I heard legends about people like you that are just like, we're away from any sort of news when there's like crazy news shit going on. And just come back and be like, yo, what the fuck?
Yeah, it was a shock for sure. But I was glad it was happening. And suddenly my friends who weren't like ever political were like, yo, we got to do activism. And I was like, what? Actually? Holy shit. Amazing. Okay, Mackie's talking again. Mackie's saying he promised to raise the salaries of retirees and on the contrary, lowered them more. Promised a normal and short quarantine, which we have had the opposite. One of the longest in the world and one of the most inhumane where the government is being very corrupt with the people. Oh, damn, I'm sorry to hear that, man. It brought many businesses closed because they had no way to continue due to lack of money. Therefore, many people lost their jobs and many businesses are still unable to open. Therefore, they do not have money to support a family in the same business itself. Yeah, lots of businesses are going down over here, and I know that they are in America as well. It's definitely not good. I think that these things would happen regardless of the quarantine, just due to COVID in general. Like, even countries that stayed open, like Sweden, are still losing small businesses like crazy. Besides that, the measures they created for the population are completely ridiculous. I know that feeling very well. And it is difficult to imagine a future in this country knowing that out of 4 years of presidency, 1 year has already gone by, and he has already done many things that brought the country down, and there are 3 more years left for new electoral elections. Mackie, honestly, I sympathize with you really hard. I feel the exact same way about my province. I feel that our restrictions were absolutely absurd. They're not actually doing anything to curb COVID. They're just making people mad. And, you know, he has like 3 years left in office, and I'm kind of like, I want to peace out. Like, if this is what we're voting for, then I don't want to be here. Yeah, well said. Absolutely. Yeah. Also, on the note of dialectics of all things,
yeah, it sounds like.
I think music festivals are also a place where dialectics happen at a much higher frequency, and I don't have a good explanation as to why.
I guess it's like a novel setting for a lot of people.
Have you ever heard of festival magic?
Is that when you have like a really cool one-night stand?
Sometimes, yes. Absolutely. Yeah, definitely. But festival magic is the idea that basically basically everyone who's gone to a festival has experienced this in some way, or at least anecdotally, the people I've talked to have experienced this. It's when you go to a festival and everything just seems to fall into place. Like, you end up where you need to be. You make a great revelation about your life. You end up spending time with people who you really need to. For instance, my partner, who I'm currently with, I met at a music festival out of the blue. I never expected to meet her there. And then I met her. You know, we had a glorious night. And then, like, I thought I'd never see her again. Ever again. Definitely didn't think I'd see her again. And then I go to Shambhala, and the very first person I run into at this massive 10,000 person festival is her. How? Fuck if I know. We had no communication. We had no way of knowing we would find each other. But it was like within like 20, 30 minutes of just being there, we found each other.
Yo, that's dope, man.
Bro, right? And this is like a consistent occurrence of so many different people who go to festivals. Again, I don't know what this says about the universe. I don't know what this says about dialectics, about philosophy in general. But you just have these like magic moments, and they happen over and over and over again. And it seems to happen with higher frequency at festivals.
Interesting.
So,
man, I need to go to more festivals, man.
Dude,
I
you do.
I had the chance to go to Okeechobee this year. I was like, nah, there's always next year. There ain't gonna be a fucking Okeechobee next year. Like, nah, like, how many people died in Florida today?
Mm.
Not just Florida, but just like in the United States today, a fuck ton. All right, in reality, any new person who enters as president is impossible to fix the country in 4 years because years ago the country is already very bad. You need someone who does things well and who is more than 4 years safe. But Fernandez is not a good example of that. My bad. Argentina's problem is Peronism, as it is called. I've ruled for more than 24 years in Argentina. Oh, I guess it has ruled, and they always did things wrong. But society is very blind and ignorant and continues to vote for these people. There are even people who believes that Fernandez is a good president when before Fernandez we were much better. Yeah, but I all right. So if he got elected in 2019 and then COVID hits in 2020, like, do you know if he has like a fair shot? Like, what do you think his competitors would do? I have no clue who his competitors are.
Yeah,
Like,
Argentinian politics are lost on us, but yeah.
it
Like,
sounds similar to America. It's like when people say like if Hillary won versus like if Trump won. I think Hillary would have handled COVID a little bit better just because the evidence that I have is that Hillary believes in science and doesn't deny science and just doesn't say that we should inject bleach or nuke hurricanes.
yeah.
You know, like the bar is literally that low. And it could be that low for Fernandez.
Something that I've noticed is that, by the way, I was pulling for Joe Biden. Like, Anarcho Biden.
Oh yeah, I was
right.
riding with Biden.
Dead analogy now. Dead analogy. I think Biden's trash, but I'm glad that he's there. I'm glad that Trump's over. I'm glad that fascism can be defeated by electoralism. Do you think Trump's a fascist? What's your take?
Oh yeah, Trump's a fascist, man.
Oh yeah, right.
Like fucking. He literally has camps of people that he illegally detained, and he's performing. The camps have like forced hysterectomies. They are experimenting chemical weapons on children, on little fucking children. He said multiple times his thoughts on Latin Americans, and yeah, and he also said race horse theory, which is eugenics. It's fucking eugenics. He said that this year. He said this like maybe like 3 months ago. He was referring to eugenics in a positive light. So yeah, that dude's a fascist. Fuck him. Amy Coney Barrett is a piece of shit too.
True.
And like they're just fake Christians, man. And like,
are you a Christian yourself? You say
yeah, I'm Christian myself. Yeah, I am. But I don't wave it around like those dickheads do.
I didn't get that impression.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, but he's a fascist.
For me, it's more that he checks off Umberto Eco's like 13 points of fascism. So like cult of tradition, for instance, absolutely checks that off. Strength for the sake of strength, goals for the sake of goals, supremacy of the military, institutionalized racism, sexism, etc. Like distrust in the media and news.
That's fucking everything.
Right. He checks off like every single point like really well. Like you can point to multiple things and just be like, yep, ding, 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 ding. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't think of a single thing that like doesn't fit Trump. Like, yeah, traditionalism. He wanted military parades, so the embracing of the military is a thing that he's done in the past. Like,
we can't even expect someone to fix a country that was already broken before. Yeah. So 24 years in total, someone different who is not a Peronist always entered, but always at some point, someone from the Peronist political party entered, and they were very corrupt people who stole a lot of money in the government. Yeah. Corruption kind of runs in corrupt people, you know. I don't want to say that like a left winger would never be corrupt because that's obviously a fucking because like you just get corrupt politicians. I don't know, Stalin, technically a left winger, insanely corrupt, right? Basically any of the air quote unquote communist nations, I don't consider them communist nations, but they are all pretty damn corrupt in my opinion. I don't think that's especially a hot take, but do you want to actually hear a hot take?
Trying to think of like a hot take that I can provide.
Oh no, I can provide one for you. That was the question.
Please. I'm drawing blinks right now.
So my hot take is in general, when left-wing governments are replaced, either by electoral means or a coup or whatever, typically things go worse. So my immediate imagination goes to France, where, Mackie, it was really good to have you on asking questions. Thank you so much for checking in, bud. I really appreciate it. Yeah.
Yo, Maki's cool as hell. You should have him as like a. Did you guys ever do like the video chat with him?
No, I've never had anyone on for video chat. Usually people are just like
The very first.
in
Nice.
chat, and they just vibe and send me music. But yeah, I want to talk about France for a second, like, because we brought up Macron briefly, and like they had a socialist government beforehand, or at least a Dem Soc government. Like they were Soc Dems, and they were doing pretty good, but like they had really low favorability ratings in the end, and then they were replaced by Macron, and then we had never-ending protests because the population realized that they were a very left-wing population in general. How many revolutions per minute does France do in general, right? But then Macron comes in and he does like just basic neoliberalism, and they're like, this is far too right-wing for us. And then just
Wow,
they
they
protest
backtracked.
constantly. Oh yeah, Macron has to backtrack constantly because he's just like
Holy shit.
not doing as progressive as the French people want him to do. Yeah, I'll see you later, bud.
See you, man.
Yeah.
Wow, that's kind of like a fear. It's like, what if we had someone like Bernie in America,
Holy
and
fuck.
then like the next president is just like Obama or Clinton, you know?
Yeah, could you imagine going
Like-
from Bernie Sanders to Biden? How sad would we be?
Yeah, I'm happy about Biden because he's pushing not as far as we could have had it if we did our shit correctly, but it's a push in the right direction. Like shit, dude.
Biden is a push in the right direction. Well, ish. But like for me, like seeing Biden going in feels about the same as seeing Trudeau go in, where I'm like, yep, time for milquetoast neoliberalism, where we talk about like progress and making society better, and then when it comes down to it, very little progress can actually be made. I mean, like let's take Mitch McConnell out of the equation for a second. Let's pretend he doesn't exist. Let's pretend that we actually that the Dems get control of the Senate and the House, and it all goes well. Even then, like, granted, material circumstances will definitely improve. Like, people of color and queer people will absolutely be more comfortable under a Biden administration. Like, I think that's uncontestable. But when it comes to actual material progress and lifting people out of poverty and fixing systemic racism and, like, defunding the police and doing, like, and climate change and all that, we're talking millimeters of progress when we need to be making football fields, miles of progress.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that my thoughts exactly.
Mm-hmm.
But hey, like one step at it every
One
4
foot in
years,
front of the
every
other,
2
right?
years, right? One
Yeah.
step every 2 to 4 fucking years. Oh shit.
One step forward, one step back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's.
And this, I think, at the end of the day, is why I'm an anarchist and not a soc dem, is because I have no faith in our current system to ever materially improve things. And I think this is a trap that a lot of liberals like get trapped in. Recently, I read a book called Fragments of an Anarchist Anthropology by David Graeber, who is an anthropologist and an anarchist, right? And something he talks about in the very first chapter is that every single anarchist and every single communist ought to be a utopian, which is really weird because something that like Marx says is that we are not a utopian movement. Absolutely not. We place ourselves in the material realm. But that's, in my opinion, excusing that most, most people already think we're utopianists, so it doesn't matter. May as well just wear it, right?
Yeah, but what is a utopian? It's just someone that wants to strive towards utopia. Like
Someone
I don't
who
see...
wants life to be good. Really good.
Yeah, I don't see an issue with that.
Me neither.
Like, sure, like maybe we'll never get there, but like if we push for it, then the sky's the limit, you know?
Right. So this is something I understand as an artist, right? You can never make perfect art. It's impossible to make perfect art. I will never make the perfect song. I will never have that, aha, and we can finally stop making theater. It will never happen. Stop trying to make the perfect piece of theater. But nonetheless, we all strive to make the best theater humanly possible, right? The best music humanly possible. And I think we should strive for the exact same in our politics. Like in art, you would never settle for just, oh, that's okay, I guess I'll put it out. No. You want to make something that's very, very good. Same with a utopian socialist, right? I don't know what this utopia will look like, Taj. Not at all. But I do know that I want it to be very, very good. So that's what I'm aiming for.
True. Yo, that's a great way to end this episode, man. It's 12:19 a.m. and I have an interview in the morning. Can you please stop trying to nibble on my leg, bro?
Aw, baby.
All right. Nah, like I just changed the setup in my room, and they're like loving it. I finally put a desk in my room, and they're just like constantly trying to like fiend their way into my room, get under my desk. I'm gonna miss this guy.
Yeah. I had a lot of fun. Thank you so much for having me on.
Thanks for having me on. I'm on your Twitch channel. I'm probably gonna download and put it on my YouTube if that's cool if you still.
Oh, absolutely.
But
Go for it.
But yeah, this has been fantastic. Like best wishes on your journeys. And yeah, for all the people that are watching on my channel, make sure if you guys have a Twitch, make sure to check out Bass_Clown on SoundCloud as well as on Twitch. Because my man has some cool projects coming up.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Taj. If you're watching on my channel or you're watching a VOD of this, I really encourage you to check out Bars and Joysticks on YouTube. Taj and his friends have really cool conversations with various conservatives, and he's really good at refuting their points. And I really like the content he puts out. And they also do hip-hop content. So if you're a hip-hop producer or a beat maker and you want to connect with some left-wingers, absolutely go check these guys out. Thanks so much for coming on. Greatly appreciate it. And, I hope to do it again at some point. Yeah?
All right. Yeah. Love it, man. If we can get like some sort of like super chat going on where it's just like a bunch of like a gang of leftists and a gang of like right wingers, that'd be really cool if you'd like to join in on that.
You want a battle royale?
Yo, I'd love a battle royale, man. I would love to do it.
Absolutely.
Like I'd probably be like really quiet and let everybody else like nibble at them, but I don't know. I feel like I can make that happen. Maybe like a 4-on-4 team.
If you have a battle royale coming up, I would be absolutely down to participate.
All right. Sounds like a plan, man.
Cool. I'm going to end the stream now, and we'll just wrap it up over Zoom. So ending the stream. If you checked it out, thank you so much. Bye-bye.